So it's all going crazy. Everybody is running all over the place. There's talk about right now Ubisoft going through an internal investigation. Sony's state of play barely got saved by Ghost of Yotei, which is also receiving heavy scrutiny. I think, the developers are taking an approach that makes sense to me. However, gamers are no longer in the mood. They want to basically know exactly how your game is going to pan out with them, if your game is actually going to vibe with them, and if it doesn't, they're not going to buy the game. Developers are now starting to get the memo. They now remember that gamers are their bosses. I was looking through my comment section, and as all of this is going crazy, as gaming is literally today on fire, I saw a very interesting comment that caught my attention. I was going to continue to talk a little bit about what we're seeing in terms of content delivery with Xbox. I don't want to necessarily leave this topic alone because it makes a whole lot of sense now more than ever that Xbox is basically closing the gap, and quietly, I must say, in terms of the games that they're bringing to the market. And because they have now necessarily gone to, hire a tag team to join this particular venture, or I guess two more players in the tag team, Activision and Bethesda, it doesn't seem to me that PlayStation has any way that they're going to be able to catch up. So I think what PlayStation is going to become is they're going to become de facto box sellers for Xbox games if Xbox or if PlayStation does not find a way to change this particular directive and direction that they're going into. All right. So what I did was I made these videos. I said, most of these fanboys are not wanting to digest reality. They don't want to actually see that the objective reality right now is that Xbox is on a higher pace with its content delivery. To that, I got another fanboy comment, and they said, oh yeah, ahead in content, Halo Infinite, Forza, Starfield, and then they made some emojis afterwards and put a clown face in order to maybe make jest of what it is that I'm saying. The reality of the matter is, if it was as simple as that, I'm sure they would probably be happy, but I think they're more than likely not, in the know as to what content is coming, or they're probably purposefully deflecting, or they're not aware that there's more than just those games, and there's not even a Forza game that has been announced. So that's a bunch of nonsense. World of Warcraft: The War Within. This is a game that's going to be coming on the Activision side. Age of Mythology from one of the Xbox studios. Era, History Untold. Also one of the smaller games from one of the, I think I consider it a smaller game from one of the Xbox many studios. Diablo 4 is coming from the Activision side. Call of Duty coming from the Activision side. Microsoft Flight Simulator coming from one of the inside Microsoft studios. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming from Bethesda. Starfield Shadow Space is coming from Bethesda. Towerborn from one of the internal pipelines for Xbox. I think that's how this is what I'm going to categorize it. And then Avowed is coming on the Bethesda side. If you look at just this list, and I went and picked it up, shout out to Game Rant. They usually compile these lists. Who wrote this article? Let me give you your Dalton Cooper. Shout out to you for actually compiling this all the way back in August. If you look at this particular list, you will see that in it, Activision alone is dropping about 3 games in this category, while Bethesda is dropping also about 3, with Indiana Jones, Starfield DLC, and Avowed. And also there's DLC here with the Diablo 4, and then there's DLC with the Activision. So 1 game, 2 DLCs from Activision, 3, what's this? Yeah, 2 games and 1 DLC in the case of Bethesda, and that's just what's ending in 2024. Avowed is 2025. I consider it, basically a similar timeline, and I think they moved it simply because they did not want to go ahead and, Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Titanfall their own game. I don't know if you guys remember when, oh my gosh, I guess I should say Battlefield and Titanfall their game, when EA made Respawn launch Titanfall and Battlefield in a similar window as Call of Duty, because I think they probably were trying to, compete or choke out Call of Duty, but Call of Duty pretty much, turned around and just, slapped both games and still went ahead and did its Call of Duty thing. I think a lot of the people that continue to downplay this stuff are being purposefully, oblique. They don't want to allow for the truth to penetrate their hearts. They continue to lie to themselves about what exactly is going on, because I think what they're scared of is the fact that, PlayStation has not necessarily been as forthcoming or has not directed its efforts to doing the thing that many of them have, laughed at Xbox for not doing for many years. Those 10 years are over. I've heard the complaints and I've heard the conversations saying, oh, 10 years ago, Xbox did A, B, C, D, and E, but it seems like those 10 years have taken an interesting turn where now PlayStation is literally hawking hardware everywhere. They're talking about the PlayStation 5 Pro, and I'm just looking going, okay, the PS5 Pro is a wonderful proposition for those who want to engage and buy a new console, get a little bit of an upgrade, and still stick with the console. I'm not worried about that. I mean, I've already said my piece. I've shown the math. I've shown performance on PCs of, equal or even less expensive specs that are going to do better than the PS5 Pro once, rubber meets the road. But at the end of the day, it just feels like, to me, the main and the most important thing should be games and it should be content. And PlayStation had already had content that they were bringing themselves. But it seems like right now, after the money hatting is now starting to fade away, what are they going to do? We have Ghost of Yotei, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to get its heat in the gaming conversation. But what Sucker Punch did, the way they've actually made sure that, they've made their games distinct in a sense. They've made Ghost of Tsushima distinct from Ghost of Yotei. They made the protagonist and they made the characters, and they're probably going to make the story distinct. I think it's actually very interesting. I think it's a wise way to go, especially in today's world. You don't want gamers to just think you don't want them to perceive your game the wrong way, because if they do, your game is over at the end of the day. So when you kind of consider what in the world is going on with this particular thing, I think right now PlayStation really needs to reevaluate what it's doing, or the delusion of the PlayStation fanboys will continue to pretty much signal to them that they're doing well. And I've seen a lot of people who say they want to buy the PlayStation 5 Pro, who say that they think PlayStation is doing a good job, and so on and so forth. But deep down inside, I don't know exactly if they truly believe that. And as somebody who played on PlayStation for the longest time, who still, will tell you that I would like to see PlayStation actually come to this level of competition, I think it's quite, unfortunate that we're probably not going to get what I think is the results that we need until things get much worse than they already are today. Man, that's crazy to say, but it is the reality. I'm going to let you guys, talk to me in the comment section. I'll let you also enjoy this footage from Gotham Knights for a little bit. Thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you guys so much. Peace out.